Minister, are you proposing to move?
Counter motion. Thank you, O'Kearley, and thank colleagues for their contributions this evening. Firstly, if I could just say in relation to the last contributor, Deputy Quinlivan, it's over 300 new council staff on housing alone appointed by this government. We've actually, since January this year, when we expanded the tenants in situ programme, over 1,000 properties are in process of being purchased in tenants in situ alone, even though your party spokesperson will come in here and have people believe that it's only 7 houses purchased in Dublin. But that's when you start playing with figures to suit a political narrative. Now, no one on this side of the House is in any way unaware of the very difficult situation that many, many families find themselves in. But this government is committed to turning this around. And how we do that is through supply. And it's by building good social, good affordable, and yes, private homes at scale. So I just want to put some facts on the floor of the House, if I may. We announced the figures yesterday, as you'll know, of our social housing delivery. 10,263 social homes delivered in 2022. Of that, 7,433 were new build social homes. And indisputable, that is the highest amount of new build social homes since 1975. But year on year, if you look at the overall social housing delivery, between 21 and 22, it's about a 12% increase on that. And over the 2 years, we've over 20,000 new social homes delivered. Is it enough? No, it's not. But is it scaling up on delivery? Absolutely it is. And some may not want to recognise that. And that is fine, because it might suit a political narrative from the main opposition party. Because when Deputy O'Brien likes to say that I used the excuse of COVID, there were 20 weeks shut down in construction through COVID. And by the way, your party was silent on that. Never actually called for the construction, the pause in construction to be lifted either. Remained silent because you weren't sure what side you were on, so you said nothing. The reality of it is we did have to deal with issues with supply chain. Building houses is very different than building schools, Deputy O'Brien, and you know that as well. And the type of properties, the different type of properties that are built also. And yes, there was double-digit price inflation earlier last year that did affect the delivery of some projects. And that's why this government brought in the inflation framework to deal with that. And even with the issues that we had around Q2 in particular of last year, around supply chain and around inflation, we managed to deliver just short of the overall target of 10,500 social homes last year. And that is a significant step up. Whether people want to accept that or not, that is the reality of it. And overall, yes, we need private supply too. So if we look at what was delivered in the first year of Housing for All, was 30,000 new homes for 30,000 households, 30,000 families across tenures, even though we had the difficulties with delivery last year. And we hope and expect to do more than that this year. Now, whilst people talk about affordable housing and bemoan the delivery on affordable housing, I would remind deputies as well, 1,757 new affordable homes, yes, is below target, and we're honest with people on that. But it is a very significant increase on the year before. Very significant and a proper footprint in 2022 of good affordable homes for purchase and to rent, cost rental for the first time ever. You've talked about it, you've never delivered it. And on top of that, and you know this also, is that we've 42 schemes approved through local authorities to deliver another 2,800 affordable homes through the Affordable Housing Fund across 15 local authority areas, and more are coming in each week. And we have to be flexible about how we're dealing with them, and we have to manage the costs within them too. I've listened to Deputy O'Brien before saying the public spending code should be thrown out the window. And that's not the way that one can operate either. And I think you know that also. So if you look at the actual delivery in new build social homes and social homes overall last year, that was a very good figure for the year that was there. And most people with a fair mind would recognise that as such. In relation to voids, and I do want to discuss this particularly, is that since I've taken over as Minister, we brought back over 8,000 void houses back into use in this country. Okay, and any local authority, and I get the list on a regular basis as to what is being brought back into use. We're very, very focused on that. And we'll continue to do so to make sure that any vacant property is brought back into use. Last year as well, another indisputable fact is that the main party opposite will say that there are 4 people buying houses. And you'll say that, but your actions demonstrate something completely different. Because in the measures that are actually helping people buy homes, last year, by the way, on new homes, 52% of all new homes built and bought last year were bought by first-time buyers. A very significant increase, the most since 2007 actually. And the assistance that they were given, yes, was through the Help to Buy grant, which by the way is their tax back, the tax that they've paid back for them to help them with the deposit. But Sinn Féin, at least you're being honest about it now, saying you'll remove that support. That's helped well over 30,000 households actually buy houses. So I want you to just be clear when people come into your constituency offices and come and talk to you, when you look for supports to buy homes. Do you actually say, don't apply to the Help to Buy grant? Do you tell people that? I doubt it very much. The First Home Scheme, which already in a very, very short space of time, over 1,400 approvals, real households, real families and individuals, because we brought through a scheme that works to bridge the gap between the finance that someone has and the finance that they need by the state stepping in and taking in equity. Not a second mortgage, as Deputy O'Brien and his colleagues in Sinn Féin said at the time, not 6-7% interest rates at all, and the scheme is working and it's taking hold across the country. And actually since January this year, we've had more applications and registrations than we had in the first 3 months of this year than we had in the 6 months from July to December of last year. And it may disappoint you that schemes like this are taking hold and are working, because they're helping real homeowners. They're helping homeowners in Fingal. They're helping homeowners in Cork, in Kerry, all across the country. Actually, in 29 of our 31 local authority areas, people have been approved for the First Home Scheme, a scheme that is actually working. Now, in relation to expenditure, just again to be very, very clear on this, in 2022, housing expenditure, just on housing alone, was the single highest, 3.5 billion expended on housing, which represented an increase of over 21% on the year before. And actually that 3.5 billion in housing was actually just 700 million more than you'd proposed in Sinn Féin yourselves to spend on the capital side. And that's what we did last year. And yes, there were difficulties, but people can dismiss Ukraine, dismiss COVID, dismiss all of those things to suit a political narrative. But at the end of the day, what we're focused on in this government is building up supply. And we have about 19,000 social homes in the pipeline. And you may laugh, Deputy Wright, there'd probably be more if you didn't object to social homes in Fingal. And I was actually delighted to see the scheme in Ballymastone receive approval by An Bord Pleanála now, which will deliver 253 social and 253 affordable houses within a scheme, and yes, private houses too, which your own councillors in Fingal didn't support. And that's fair enough. That's on the record of the council as well. And there are many other examples, but that is one aspect of it. We've got to deliver more affordable, which we're doing, more social, which we're doing, and the figures do not lie in that regard. In relation to new tenancies too, of course, there's a very serious issue within the private rented sector. And how that is dealt with is by exiting people, particularly on from Hap-and-Ras tenancies into permanent social housing. And that is happening, not at a scale that I would like, but is happening at an increased scale. And the tenant in situ scheme is ramped up and is delivering, and the local authorities are resourced to deliver upon it. And they're very focused at doing so. And in relation to the other backstops that are there, the cost rental backstop is in place now, for people who cannot afford to purchase that home. That cost rental with tenant in situ is also available there. And we will work at night and day to ensure that all the supports are there for people who need them. Because a continuation of the eviction moratorium would have made a difficult situation even worse. And what government must do, and all government should do, is take the responsible and correct decision, even if it's difficult in the short term. But fundamentally, the way out of this situation is to deliver more homes. And we did that in 2022. And we will do more in 2023 this year. And I hope that we get the support of your party representatives across the country to do likewise. And we need to ensure that we're delivering social housing at scale, like through the Land Development Agency, which again was set up and capitalised to deliver social and affordable houses on idle state land. And what does Sinn Féin do on that? Oppose the Land Development Agency, against the Land Development Agency. So all I see is Sinn Féin against every single measure that government brings forward. Inexplicably, the vacancy grant. Deputy Gould has left the chamber here, consistently talks in relation to vacancy. And yes, there's a vacancy and dereliction issue. We bring forward a support that over 1,500 applications have been made already. The Croí Cónaithe vacancy grant, €30,000 for homeowners, right across the constituency for vacant, 50,000 for derelict, and your own party opposes it. And you've never explained why. I've noted that you've dropped it off your motion that you've tabled here in the House this evening, so maybe there's been a change of heart on that, in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you.